Hello. Do you like dogs? Yes, I do like dogs. I love dogs. For the most part, however, I do not like dog owners. Can you really blame me? Why are you not using your platform to discuss what is happening in Gaza and Palestine? Alright, we are going to have to defer the rest of these questions for another interval so that I may address a topic which I'm fairly certain we have already broached here once before. Platform? What platform? Do you honestly believe anyone's tuning into this? Boys and girls, punks and skins, I know that you are looking for somebody to blame. It's what you do. This time, however, I can't really blame you. Which is why I will tell you once again what I told you once before. Place the blame where the blame belongs. You blame the Jerry and the Central Powers back during and after World War I. And you blame the British for making a bunch of promises and then turning around and not bothering to keep them. Now, for those of you who wish and pray that I would fast forward through the ages to focus on the here and the now today, very well, I will indulge you. I will share with you a little recollection that keeps resurfacing in my mind every time I hear about another atrocity, another instance of inhumanity from the Middle East. Now, we're not going to be able to cross-reference this, all right? You're not going to be able to do the fact-checking, I suppose. I'm stipulating this up front because I simply do not remember the names and the dates and the details. It has been too long. This was back in the 80s, possibly even the 70s, and I just don't remember. There was an interview, 60 Minutes style, between an American journalist and an Israeli general of the high command, and it wasn't going very well because as the discourse continued and the tensions mounted, the American journalist could sense the seething hatred and hostility which the Israeli general felt toward the Palestinian people, so much so that he finally broke down and just leveled with him. Not sarcastically, no, but somewhat fatalistically. The American journalist says, look, I'm getting the impression from you that if you could, you would follow the example of the Germans back during the war in terms of what they did to the Jewish people with concentration camps and death camps. Without missing a beat, without blinking, without hesitation, the Israeli general responded by saying, if we could, we would. If we could get away with it, we would do that. If there was some way that we could do this secretly so the rest of the world did not know that we were doing this, we absolutely would. But there is no way. With satellites and media and journalism, we simply couldn't get away with it. But if we could, we would. Concentration camps, death camps, whatever it takes to deal with these people once and for all. If we could get away with it, we would. This was an older general, no doubt of European extraction, probably came up through the pogroms and the purges, possibly even a Holocaust victim himself. Someone who had a first-hand experience, someone who witnessed genocide up close. All those years later, in a position of power, prepared to turn around and do the same exact thing to those who he called his enemy. And he wasn't merely speaking on behalf of himself or of the high command or even of the entire Israeli army. These were sentiments which were reflected in some of the citizens of Israel at the time, before, during, and after. Now, one cannot hear words like this and retain any doubt about the emotions which run rampant in that part of the world. Now, you want me to be angry and upset and outraged, and I am, all that and more so, but what I am not, what I cannot be, is surprised. Nor can anyone else who's been tuning into this movie for over half a century now. It's those of you who have only just tuned in who are getting at both barrels. And there's a reason for this. You see, this time around, this interminable conflict, it's reached a crossroads which might prove to be the tipping of the scales. It might be a juncture of finality. As the conflict intensifies, it might just be settled once and for all in the basest and most violent sense of the words.